Okay, so in Central Park, talking about the new zodiac, the Solar Universal Constellation Star Map, and with Sani, beautiful soul, African American or Nigerian, and we're talking about these. Ecliptic is the path of the old zodiac. So if you could imagine this line right here, it goes like that, is the path of the sun every day, east to west, on the ecliptic line. And that means that it goes 23 degrees north and 23 degrees south, and across the equator at the times of the equinox. And so that is the strict constellations that they're using just in this little square. If you look at the whole space way over there to the North Pole, you're going to see all these other constellations that our sun actually goes around, let's say, around the center of our local universe, and which is the galactic center. And the other way behind us over here, go like that, that's going to be the South Pole, and way over to the building would be the South Pole, where all these other constellations are all, lined up above and below us, you see? Mm-hmm. And they're only using the constellations that are above us for the zodiac, the old zodiac, and the sun's path. So yes, it's lined up with the sun's path and the 12 constellations, but the real thing is more like the real sun. We shine like the sun. There it is somewhere, and it's beautiful, like that. Like that soul right there. Look at that beautiful man. You got it. And we don't need to do anything about it. Life is the sun shining, the trees are growing, and it's just beautiful everywhere. There's nothing more to do but be on it. So the 28 constellations are in the Solar Universal Zodiac. And we're outside of the Alfred Nobel Prize statue, by the way, at the Natural History Museum.
Yeah.
Which is this huge, humongous building. Look at this. Oh, it's huge. They've got a whole bunch of natural history and space and science and all that stuff in there. And frankly, there's very, very little to see, except for maybe the Hayden Planetarium now and then. Beautiful ladies, hello.
Hello. Hi.
So the 28 constellations are like the 28 types of people, and they go from the north and south, and center. And so I just use them as the symbols, and they last 13 days long, so that means we have 364 days in the year when the cycle goes, and then we get one day, which I call the Galactic New Year, when the sun lines up with the galactic center at 28 degrees Sagittarius, December 17th to 18th. And so that's really an important factor because, it's like you've got these cycles during the year that no one pays attention to, but they have some bearing on where we are in creation, because we're talking still about the creation universe. And so, it's pretty much it. Doing astrology readings is not the same thing, because we're not doing astrology. This is really solaristry, or the SOLARIST, solar arts. And so it's not specific by numbers exactly. I just know, as the solarist, that the positions are, as an example, a person born on the 2nd of April is in the sign of the hero, as are all those at the beginning of April, first 10 days or so of April, 13-day cycle, in the sign of the hero or the heroine, and Aries is very heroic. And you get the people able to fight wars and be working with the operations and military or otherwise. It doesn't have to be a war of fighting. It's So in that sense, we haven't had a very real long period of wars that were really about humanity becoming free. But they didn't identify that. They said we've got to become free as our culture or race and nation or something like that. And yes, so leading up to America being born. And I think that we've gone out of the hero phase, because what I'm describing is a much greater phase than that. Hello. And the greater phase is 28, started at 0 AD, when Andromeda went into 0 Aries, and they start the zodiac with the 0 degrees of Aries, and that happened in 0 AD, birth of Christ, etc. And not uncoincidental, of course, but the old astrology honors what they call the age of Pisces that came in at that time, because the sun was going from 0 Aries backwards into Pisces, and it has done so for the last 2,000 years, and it's just about to finish and go into the age of Aquarius. But that's a backward cycle. That's almost like de-evolution. And if humanity stays with that cycle, which they've been doing, you're just going to see continuous degradation for the most part. And it may look like growth and all this with all this technology and stuff, but it's really a kind of a faux pas, and it's not true or real. But in any case, yes, okay, it's experienceable and so forth, and the Christ was born, and all of that, and I was there. Actually, just as an aside, I was Joseph of Arimathea. He's the one who buried Jesus, and I know that for sure. And there were 2 rich men who made their way to get permission to bury Jesus. They allowed the rich guys to do it, and then they put him in the tomb, but they took him out before it got degraded. And so that's why they think, oh, he just rose up and he wasn't there and the body's gone. That's all symbology. No, took him out. And of course, passed away. But we were all friends with Mary Magdalene and whoever else, and Joseph was a tin merchant and been traveling to England, and did go to the west part of England, Camelot, and so forth, that part of England for the tin mines. There's even a show about it called Poldark, where they're mining there, which is interesting in that sense. And I'm watching it going, they're talking about like what looks like the physical aspect of it, but really they started the first church, that church, but all the other disciples did too, the other 12 or 11, the other 12, etc., and the other people too, that wanted to. They all went to different parts of the Middle East and wherever, Rome, Peter, whatever, and got hung up by their heels, in Peter's case, and whatever the other guys did, that they all were killed, which I didn't know about either till recently. So that's that kind of 0 AD is when Andromeda went into Aries, and it is now at 28 degrees Aries, so we're getting within 200 years of it finishing its cycle and going into Taurus. So that is definitely a cycle of importance here in terms of the Earth and humanity and our evolution. We're going to go from the age of, like, Aries would be starting things, initiations, getting stuff, like exploring and developing. And then Taurus is where you start building the cities or some kind of really strong organized structures and getting the real fruits of the planet, the Earth, maybe. Or maybe they're going to build some kind of crappy thing, which kind of like is right here. So there it is. The introduction to the solar universal zodiac, what it is, and its entire hierarchy map, relativity to the old zodiac, and I call it the beginning of the New Ages. to become aware of this. So that's it on that one. And I'm going to say thank you.